Hi, welcome.
Yay!
Yeah, now I have volume too.
And you can hear me and
I can
everything.
hear you perfect.
Ah!
Oh my gosh. You know what? Me and you were true survivors.
You don't know the half
We
of
were
it.
determined. We're like, we're doing this because we have a very important message. So, welcome, Dr. Carolyn DeLucia. I'm so excited that you're here. If you guys are joining live, hi, drop your questions in the chat. We're having a fantastic conversation speaking
Yes.
about all things women's health 40 and up. Okay. So I'm going to be looking at the chat and seeing, if questions come in, Dr. Carolyn, but I would love for you. Well, first, let me just, lay down the foundation here. We have an expert here with us today, guys. So please drop your questions in. She's been in her field for over 30 years, is, collaborated with Tony Robbins, and is just an expert in so many things pertaining to women's health, energy, wellness, vitality. And this is my community of where women are always asking me about the right supplements, the right workout, and there's so much noise out there. So I want you, Dr. Carolyn, to really take the mic and kind of give us your expertise on what's really necessary to feel amazing, what's kind of like a myth, what is really going to help. That's really, really important. So, and I'll be looking at the chat to see if questions come in. So the floor is yours.
Great. Oh, wow. Thank you, Lydia. Can you hear me
So
well?
well, yes,
Okay, great.
yes,
I am so excited to be here. And like you said, we were determined.
yes.
Why? Because we do have a lot to say. Women, my number one advice is listen to your body. It's going to tell you what it needs. And if there is something wrong or off, it is off. And you have every right to get the answers to what is happening and find out how you can feel your best. There is absolutely no reason 40, 50, 60 to not feel optimized. And that's the magic word. You want to feel the best you can feel. If I am fortunate enough to have a grandchild someday, within the next few years, a baby born has a life expectancy of 120. Yeah. So how do we make 100 look like you do, Lydia? That's what we all want. We
Right.
want to be fit, vivacious, on it, energy, and it can happen. The most frustrating thing for me in medicine is that I hear all day long from my women that they went somewhere else and they were told, that happens. It's perimenopause. It's menopause. Well, yes, we do have to go through those changes, but how can we do it
Love it.
optimally? How can we make, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I love that. And so what would be your suggestions for that? Because I think there's just so much out on the market right now that, even in fitness, right? Like I always tell my clients, like, you don't need all these gadgets. Like you can really simplify things. And so if we were going to take a minimalist approach, Dr. Carolyn, with your expertise, like what are like kind of like maybe the three things that women who are in let's do perimenopause first,
Yes.
should be focused on or watching out for, or habits to implement? What can they start doing?
Okay. Number one, what's going to begin to happen are changes in your PMS symptoms, your premenstrual stuff. You may get headaches, you may get breast soreness, but in perimenopause, they may get exasperated, absolutely terrible, or disappear and new things will pop up. Like all of a sudden, you'll be getting nauseous before your period. The other thing, what really happened to me in my early 40s was hot flashes and night sweats the week of my period only. And I was like, wait, this feels like when I was nursing. I would wake up in a drenching sweat when I was breastfeeding. And that's what started happening before my period. And I'm like, oh, This is a night sweat. Dun, 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 dun. So, not fun,
Right.
not fun. And you wake up, you change your clothes sometimes, and there are all kinds of ways to try to supplement with minimizing this. You can start taking over-the-counter products that have Don Quai in it, or you can start using Relazin, which is a supplement that's over-the-counter from the pollen of a flower, and
Oh, okay.
it'll help minimize these early symptoms because they're only 5 days, 7 days a month.
Yeah.
When it becomes more perpetual, that's when it's going to truly impact your quality of life. And I'm going to talk about this for 1 second because perimenopause is literally a huge stress on the body. Your ovaries are getting lazy. They're like our teenagers with their earbuds in. They are not listening to the message coming down from the pituitary saying, make an egg. Hey, wake up. Make an egg. Clean your room.
Right.
And the kids don't want to clean their room. Your ovaries don't want to make an egg. And what happens is the music is still spewing out because they're not kaput. They're just lazy.
Okay.
So what's coming out from the hyperstimulation is estrogen. When we have extra estrogen and then finally ovulate, it ovulates. Not real healthy. That's the only place in our whole body we make progesterone, is where we release the egg. It becomes a gland called the corpus luteum, and that releases progesterone. But when that ovulation is half-hearted and there's been an overflow of estrogen and the progesterone can't balance, then what happens is we get estrogen dominance. And this is a horrible stressor to our body. We wake up in the middle of the night like this, very agitated, staring at the ceiling, can't fall back to sleep. And when you wake up feeling like that, you're exhausted. And all of this causes cortisol to creep up.
I just lost your audio. There you go.
Oops, that's because I did a hand gesture.
Okay.
They didn't like,
It's like, I need to hear you.
So I was talking about the peak of cortisol in the morning. And with that, it gives us exhaustion by mid-afternoon, but also where do we put our weight? Around the middle. And therefore, this is a period of time it's absolutely critical to listen to your body and do relaxation techniques, yoga, do exercise to get rid of that extra angst. All of these behaviors will help in minimizing that cortisol. And if it's not helping, still see your doctor. This is not in replace of getting official help. Go see your doctor. Get progesterone that's what's lacking. So take something, a little bit bioidentical always, but you can replace it and supplement it so that you don't have to feel so awful. This is
I love that.
also, and this is also the period of time sex becomes a chore. You no longer desire it. All of a sudden, you're laying there saying, "Oh my God, let him think I'm asleep." Oh God, I'm snoring. Pretend to snore. I mean, it's not okay. And what's happened is our libido drops because our testosterone is also mainly 90% comes from our ovary. And when our ovaries get lazy, it's the first hormone to go. When we lack testosterone, we can't build beautiful muscle like you have. Women could be trying all they want, but without testosterone boosted, they won't be able to.
So I have
So
a
a natural,
question.
yeah,
Yeah, so I have a question. So, because we're talking about perimenopause, right, at this
yeah,
point?
yeah.
Now, does everyone, and I don't know if you know the stat, but like, is it the majority of women experience this, or is it very selective and like some do and some don't? And
Majority. It's the
okay.
majority. So it happens, we lose up to 1 to 3% testosterone a year over 30.
Mm.
So by the time the majority of women hit their 40s, if they have a testosterone level less than 20, they won't even have a sexual thought.
Wow.
Nothing.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that. I'm so glad we're having this conversation, and I want to have more of these. I think, it's so important that women get in this conversation and really hear from an expert as opposed to just like the random noise that's all over the internet. It can be very confusing. And so I love
Yes.
that you're breaking it down. Um, what can women do? Because I'm all about lifestyle choices. So before we get to like hormone replacement or
Oh,
anything like that, like
yeah,
what are
yeah.
the pillars of like just optimal health? When you were talking about like optimizing for the best energy in your 40s, like what are some habits that you would recommend that they start doing to set yourself up for your 50s, and then in the 50s for your 60s, if you just briefly
Yes.
like.
The key factor, without a question, is maintaining muscle mass. There's no two ways about it. And therefore, any resistance training, it's not all about cardio. It's not about burning calories at this point. It's about maintaining muscle mass. Because if we lose our muscle mass, the testosterone goes down lower. It is a well documented result that all of our hormones work better if we are physically
Love
fit.
it.
So it's very true. So the key is maintaining muscle mass. It's also, as you get into your 50s and 60s, you lose it more rapidly if you're not diligent. And when that occurs, what's going to happen is we call it sarcopenia, which is the progressive loss. It's the number one cause of nursing home admissions.
Mm. It's a real
So,
thing. Yeah, my mom
oh,
actually was diagnosed with it. So that's what your bones, right?
it no, that's
Oh,
osteoporosis.
sorry, osteopenia. I was thinking of osteopenia.
Yes, yes.
The one you said was I
Sarcopenia.
mixed them up. My
Yes,
apologies. Yeah,
but no, they both are important.
yeah,
But the loss of muscle
yeah.
is what really affects their quality of life, their ability to do
Yes.
daily
So
activity.
important to have functional. A lot of my training that I do is functional training.
Yes,
Like you want to be able to. I always talk about flexibility first of all because it's like the unsexy thing, right? Everybody just wants muscle, but if you're developing muscle but you're not developing range of motion and flexibility and mobility, you're not going to be able to move well as you age. So I
correct.
prioritize that completely. And so thank you. This has been so helpful. I'm just, if you guys are just joining, you can feel free to drop a question in the chat. We're going to be on for just a couple more minutes. But so as far as, let's talk about diet a little bit, because the number one question I get is always like, after my 40, I hit mid 40s, and now I have 10 pounds that I gained and I can't lose it. And everyone, they attribute it to aging. And I just wanted your take on it. As a trainer, I have my thoughts on, I always go lifestyle first. Like, let's look at what you're eating first, and
Sure.
then you can attribute it to aging and things like that. But a lot of times I feel like people just immediately go to, oh, it's my age, where like they're not really looking at how they're eating, what they're eating, when they're eating. So what are your thoughts on
That is really complicated, but
that?
but I always tell my women in their mid 40s into their 50s that doing honestly a little bit of intermittent
Yeah.
fasting
Yeah.
is a good idea.
I love it.
It's
Fasting. Yeah.
Yeah, so it resets your metabolism, it gives you an anti-aging effect, and it really helps you maintain your weight.
Yeah.
Now, that of course goes along with clean eating.
Yeah.
There's no way eating a container of Haagen-Dazs is ever going to be okay.
Right.
It's
Thank
Just
you.
not okay.
Yeah.
Sugar
Yes.
is toxic,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely toxic. And yet I have 28 sweet teeth, not just one. All of those damn teeth want sugar, and it's the little monsters in my
Yeah.
stomach, and I have to fight that every
Yeah.
day. But I know if I take in sugar, it's messes up my intestines for weeks. Everything gets thrown off. So the key is eating clean as best you can. None of us are
Mm.
perfect, but if you do it the majority of the time, along with healthy exercise, you're going to be okay. And when I say eat clean, I don't believe in absolutely eliminating any
Mm-hmm.
food group. I am not saying eat only protein. I think we have to have a lot of protein in order to help our muscle mass. And so many women are going on the injectables for weight loss.
Mm.
I'm not, there's good and bad with
Yeah.
those. You've got to be so very
Yeah.
careful. My biggest objection to it is that a lot of women are doing this without using an ability to measure their body composition.
Mm.
And there are literally at-home scales, not more than $250 for purchase, that are 98% accurate in measuring visceral fat, which is the most dangerous. That's
Yeah.
the fat around our organs. It'll measure your muscle. It'll measure your muscle in your right arm versus your left arm. It will measure your right leg versus your left leg, your abs,
Yeah.
and it will give you the subcutaneous fat measurement, how much water you're
Yeah.
retaining.
That's amazing.
It's wonderful. It's a fabulous tool.
Yeah.
So if women are using the injectables and nobody's watching their body composition because they're
Mm.
getting it online, please purchase one of these scales that are available. And that way you can watch and make sure you're not losing
Yeah.
muscle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother, we could have another
Oh,
live about that
oh
conversation. Because
yes.
I think, a lot of times I've had some women reach out, like they've lost a substantial amount of weight very quickly from that. And now they're not really happy with the aesthetics of their physique
Yes.
because, right? Like, so
Yes.
I'm all about lifestyle change and developing that, the strength training with that. It's going to help you shift your body composition in a, what I find to be a more like aesthetically pleasing kind of
Yes.
way. Right. And so that's a whole nother
Yes.
conversation, but this has been so wonderful. Is there anything else that you want to share that you feel like maybe is a myth out there that, you really want to clear the air as far as like women, longevity, health?
Number one, do not suffer in
Mm.
silence. Every single symptom you are experiencing it, whether it's been lack of libido, lack of sensation, all of a sudden trying to reach
Yeah.
climax is like climbing a mountain. And then when you get there, it's like, that was nice. But
Right.
we want to be swinging from the
Let's
chandelier.
go.
And I'm 63, happily swinging.
Amazing.
That's the way it should be
I love
forever,
it.
forever.
Thank you for
And
saying that.
and intimacy is critical. Don't give up on your relationships.
Mm.
It's one of the most basic human needs.
I love this. I absolutely love this. And I needed to hear that because I think, like I'm going to be 46 in 2 weeks and I feel like life is just beginning in a
Yeah.
lot of ways. Right. And I want that message to be out there instead of like, oh, I'm getting so old and, it's deterioration. Like I love hearing from women like you who have that spark and you're like, no, this is just the beginning. Like you have so much to look forward to. I feel like that message of hope is not out there as much. And so thank you for this beautiful
Yes.
conversation. So
Thank
where
you.
can they follow you, find you, Dr. Carolyn?
Right here on Instagram, I'm Carolyn DeLucia MD. Facebook, I'm just Carolyn DeLucia with a capital L. And on my website, if they want to go,
Yeah.
it's www.drcarolyndelucia.com.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. I would
Thank
love to have
you.
more conversations like this in the future. So again, thank you so much for your time, and we'll do this again soon.
Thank you so much.
All right.